Ian Abel from the Ian Abel Band. Welcome, man. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Man, so how was your show last night? You played a 3 hour set. It must have
Yeah,
been exciting.
it was cool. It went for quite a while, and so it was in Cincy and it was downtown, and the Reds were playing their baseball team there, and there was like it was a sold out game, like no parking, it was packed, and then they started losing, so people started leaving, and I started later, so I like got a flood of people coming through that were all pretty upset that they were losing and they lost the game. So they started turning to the booze, and it was good for me because then they started hanging out and singing along. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna play like some country classic songs here for everybody to get some sing
In
alongs
some way,
going.
you kind of like you were there to kind of ease their sorrows in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah. And one guy even got up. This older gentleman was I played Friends in Low Places, which is always a fun one because it's so easy to do. And this guy, it's nighttime. There's lights on me, so I can't see except I see this shadow figure come out. And he comes up on stage and he's like, "Let me help you out here." And he comes up and starts singing. And he doesn't know the words at all.
Oh shit!
Like, but I just moved aside. I was like, "Oh, this is so funny." And then some kid, like a toddler, came up and started messing with my like pedals and stuff, and I was like, well, whatever happens, it's rock and roll.
Yeah, and I think um, tying that into one particular point, we've delved a little bit into your formative years with the friendships that you've accumulated and that you're still very close to your band members who you've known for a long time. But I'd like to take it a little bit back further to your own life, your own influences growing up. Which bands would you say really kick-started your interest in music?
uh the movie School of Rock. That would be
That's a
honestly.
classic. I'd say that helped me too. So you're not alone.
Yeah, no, it was I didn't really listen to music much. I guess because I was younger, I played a lot of sports and stuff. I was in a lot of different like multiple basketball leagues, etc., and was
Right.
real busy with that. And the people I hung out with listened to a lot of rap. So I guess like I did too at that time. Um which I like rap and all, but I don't like all rap. and and then I watched School of Rock and I saw the guitar and stuff. I was like, wow, I think I want to play guitar. That looks cool. And then it's just, I got into guitar and it's just an explosion of like going back in time and like learning music. It's like I had so much catching up to do. And then,
Wow. That's
yeah,
that's really interesting. So did you look in your formative time since you were more into sports, did you look like drastically different aesthetically? I mean, I know you're rocking the long hair and the long beard, but was it not always like that?
no, it was. It was short hair and some ugly haircuts that we will not, hopefully, will never surface again.
So like you were like more of a sports guy at the time and music slowly became a close second passion and then music kind of overtook at that point.
Yeah, I was like sports, and then in high school, I hurt my knee, and I also realized in high school, like, cause I'm 5'10", and I started noticing like everyone was getting a lot bigger, and I wasn't growing much taller, and I was like, so then I got smart, and I looked up like the height of different like athletes and things like that, and I was like, even the baseball players are tall. I was like, I don't think professional sports is going to be in my my thing, so I started doing theater because I was a background extra in the movie Elizabethtown, which is hilarious. And I thought that was cool. So I wanted to act or whatever. So I did theater in high school. And then I watched School of Rock, and that blew me away. So I started getting into rock, and I got a guitar. And then as soon as I got my guitar, it switched. I was a different person. Like I fell asleep like strumming it. I didn't know how to play a single thing. And then ever since then, I was just, it was all rock and roll all the time.
So it was like a self-taught approach, would you say?
I took lessons. I don't know how good the first teacher was. He gave me like a good start, but I got kind of a little past it at pretty quickly. Oh, and that's I took some jazz lessons from like a really killing player, and a lot of stuff is obviously self-taught, but I definitely had some sort of a foundation. I wasn't I can't take all the credit.
All right, yeah. At least you had people who not only recognized your talent but were able to foster it.
Yeah, I mean, I take bluegrass lessons to this day because I love bluegrass and wanted to get better at it. So I take bluegrass lessons right now, which is kind of crazy.
It's really good. It's like it's a whole different feel. Like you go from the standard like dun, 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 and then bluegrass is like no 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 no. So like
Yeah.
it's like a change of scenery, but I mean you're still improving your craft, which is awesome.
Yeah, I'm just, learning cool songs and that I've never heard before and learn it's really just adopting licks and phrases that finding from these like Tony Rice tunes or Doc Watson tunes and applying. They're easily applicable. So,
It's cool that you're able to like notice like the similarities in like different genres no matter which one you do. You don't like discriminate and say like this is beneath me for like 2 months and then like 2 months later it's your big thing. Like you still have it going. um, like in terms of your own listening habits, are you like as much as a fan of other people's music as you are with your own?
probably more so to be fair. A fan of
Oh wow,
more than my own. Yeah.
that's really cool. You know, a lot of people can't, you know, balance it out and they don't have time to listen to others, especially when they're in the creative process of,
Mhm.
you know, previewing their own material. And like I've told you kind of off screen, it's been a long time since we've talked. So within that span, it was late 2020 and then up to 2023. Um, were you ever, was there a moment where you were like, ah, this is getting too much, like I'm losing kind of momentum? Or did you just take everything in stride and just keep going, even with the uncertainty of the world?
I mean, I definitely took it in stride because there's no other option, but I
Mm-hmm.
lost a ton of momentum. But I've got like a never say die attitude. So I was like, okay, well, I lost a ton of momentum. My life got flipped upside down. I was in Los Angeles. That was in a whole other time zone. And so everything got flipped upside down, but I just, put my head down like, well, I'm gonna keep going, keep pushing forward because it's really all I know how to do.
Mm-hmm. And you were working a lot, and I was wondering with the music that you're doing now and your pursuit of music now, have you found a lot more opportunities musically?
Yeah, they keep, if I've noticed that if you put yourself out there in any scenario, I would say, then you're gonna find opportunities. So like I played my friend Natalie was came to Cincinnati because she was working on a film, and I put out a thing on like a Cincinnati music group that I joined, and I was like, hey, I'm looking for a place to play. We want to do some stuff. I was just thinking like a bar gig or something, and just to have fun. And I met a guy named Steve Saunders from there, and like he's the one who booked me last night from Cincy, and because I got nominated for this HIMA, I think, yeah, HIMA award. Now I'm I'm playing in Owensboro this Friday and Saturday, and so things just happen. I think probably in every industry when you just put yourself out there.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about your friends and your bonds with them and how you've grown with them a lot. And in regard to your new song, "Why Boston," Kenny Schwartz actually helped you out with the song. Helped you out with in that process. I mean, do you guys still work closely together even now?
Yeah, well, he's in Texas, so we talk almost every other day, send stuff back and forth. So, but I just Wes Trey and I, we just we're working on, it's almost done recording a new song called Stay Here. Um and I sent Kenny the stuff and he laid down some drums on it. And then I had like a part in the song that I wanted to change. So that's going to cause him to do a completely new take of the drums. But so we still like, we're still real close, even though we're far away. And he's trying to convince me to move to Austin. And so he might get me. I haven't been down there to visit him yet, like I want to. And he also built a brand new studio. So I gotta go down there and record in that. It's gorgeous.
Oh yeah, I imagine. How do you compare those experiences in terms of, working long distance and sending each other ideas through file sharing, rather than being in a physical studio? Does it suffice for the time being and you're not really compromising on quality? Or once you figure that once you get into like the studio environment, hell, it's like a whole other level.
Yeah, there's certainly a little bit of a compromise because I would rather be, all together in a room. I'm much more. I love the community aspect about art in general, so I'd rather that. But I'm not one to complain to be able to record high quality music, studio grade music from separate places, because he can do his drums in the studio and send them to me. And Wes is audio engineered and produced this one we're going to put out here in a couple months. And he's brilliant. And I have like my own vintage pre's and stuff to work. So we're able to do a lot of cool stuff from home. Um, but I'm definitely looking forward to getting down there on this ranch in Texas and like sweat in the room and get the tunes going and the overtones for music together.
Yeah, yeah. And I was wondering because, why Boston kind of reminds me of like the synchronicity between you guys. You have, even though it's like a heavy song, there's a lot of room in the track. And the interesting thing with the song is you've played a version of it live where it has like an extended kind of freeform part. And I was wondering, will there be any instance of us seeing or hearing rather like a recorded version with that extended part in it, or is it like kind of up in the air?
It's more of it's like a kind of a free jazz section. I was real into the Mars Volta and
Yeah.
like Chick Corea and I was just on a real progressive kick and at that time. So I had the middle section has like a free jazz section that we would do live. There's a demo of it somewhere, but we didn't when we actually recorded it. I remember we were kind of like doing it. We were recording the drums, and John Graber turned to me and goes, he's like, why the hell is there a 2 minute free jazz section in this? He's like, you need to save that for the live show. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Because that song would have been, I mean, what, like 7 minutes long or something like that.
You mentioned John. You guys have been working for a long time now since I've known you, and I mean, has your communication, your connection with John improved as far as getting what you want out of these sessions?
I mean, anytime John puts his hands and on anything, anytime he touches something, it's going to be incredible. So I've always been very fortunate to just lean on his opinion and trust to know what he's doing is the right call because I write the songs and I hear it all in my head. And sometimes it's like, Ian, you don't need a symphony for this song. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, let's get back down to earth. I'll be up in the clouds a little bit too much. But sometimes it's hard to get a hold of John just in general because he's such a hot item now in the mixing and engineering world. And he tours with no FX, and I mean he's doing some awesome stuff. I'm so happy for him because he deserves it and he's incredible.
The big guys. And regardless of the time he takes with other artists, with other areas of his life, he still has time for you. And like, your connection doesn't run dry at any point.
Yeah, he even so much like my friend's band in Louisville, they helped them record two of their songs, and I mixed one of them, and I sent it to him, and he was on tour in Europe and took time to call me when he got on the Wi-Fi. I was like, "Hey, dude, your drums kind of suck. This is what you need to do to kind of beef them up." And I was like, "Okay, thanks." He gave me like a rundown of what to do, and I went back and did it, and he was right. And so yeah, even more so than just the stuff that like my personal music. If I have a question about microphones or anything, I go right to him. Ask him, "What do you think about this?" And he'll say yes or no, or Ian, no, don't buy a $5,000 microphone. That doesn't make any sense.
It's good that he not only like tells you kind of the areas of where and where not to, spend this exorbitant amount, but at the
Yeah.
same time, he tells you and pinpoints, where you can improve. And seriously, like in my own like musical endeavors, I know, this is your interview, but as an aside, I've worked with people who would just give me like vague kind of things like this could be better, or this is flat, or this is dull, or this is lifeless. And meanwhile, you're left having to figure shit out. Like, okay, what did he mean by this and this? But like, it's awesome that you have someone there to give it to you straight. So that's rare. Please like hold on to that.
Oh yeah. No, I love um when people are like brutally honest. I want that's when someone's you know they, they can't when they really tell you like, hey, this is they don't sugarcoat it.
Yeah,
And so when
and
someone doesn't
and
sugarcoat with me, like,
and
John
and they
go
do it
ahead.
in such a way. I was gonna say they do it in such a way where you feel that you're still with this guy. You feel like, okay, like I'm not dejected. I'm not shut down. Like I'm still with you. Still with you. We can still like make this work.
Yeah, they John and Kenny they're from the same place, Long Island, and they went to the same high school. So, working with a couple of New York Jews who just let me know straight up how it goes. And I freaking love it. Their energy is different and I freaking love it.
That's their mentality, and that's what works best when you find people from different backgrounds. You're able to, like I said, make that work and like fit it in. Like, oh, I see what he's saying now.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to learn from them, and like it's good that you never like shut off your opportunities to learn from other people, even if it's in a style that might not resonate with you immediately.
Yeah, 100%.
And I mean, you've been on a roll with all of these opportunities, and I remember back when I last talked to you, you were in the mode of periodical releasing of songs. But now, as I understand, you're working on another full length. And is the track "Why Boston" a part of that in terms of
Yeah.
like the style of songs? Like, will
Yeah,
it be
we got
included in
about
that album?
yeah, we have about two more tunes on like the full length side uh to, to come out. So next week actually I have a song coming out, which is funny, called What You Deserve. And so it'll be that and then two more after that and the full length. That'll be like all the full length songs and I'll put them all out together again with the album. And then I mean we have like I mean, I have like 50 something songs demoed, so it's just going to be right back to just, you know, we keep writing more, so it's just going to be what we can record now. You know, certain songs will call for me to be in Texas with Kenny and record, and other ones that like Wes and I have worked on, we can record here, send him stuff, and um it's just going to be picking and choosing what to do from here on out and just pumping out as many as we can that quality, not, you know, not just quantity, but definitely quality.
Yeah, that's the important part. And I guess I should mention, like like we were talking about before, you're really soon you're gonna be at the Hollywood Independent Music Awards. You're actually nominated for Outlaw. Congratulations, man!
Yeah, thank you. It's really it's been really cool thus far.
And this is a track that you've kind of performed regularly. That you kind of have uh, gotten used to a good reception at your shows. Like when you think back on that song, like how do you feel about it?
Feel great now that it's got a nomination, you know. Like, okay, cool. I thought it was a good song, and the category of Americana and Roots is pretty interesting because it's they didn't have a category that was like, you know, Skinnered in the Coliseum and Oakland Coliseum in '77 because that's kind of what Outlaw and that's kind of what we do. Um, but I was like the Americana Roots category. I was like, that's cool. It's a little bit more upbeat and rocking, but I'll take it and I love it. And
It still has that heaviness that makes it kind of foreign to Americana, but it works.
yeah, yeah. About the real Americana part of it is my accent, I think.
Yeah. You can use that to your advantage because you're a local.
Yeah, that's really what it is. So, but the but everything else is like, you know, if you listen to it, really, you're like, man, it really does sound like Skinner is playing Freebird in Oakland Coliseum. You know, it's loud and a bit abrasive and heavy, and um,
Well, that's gonna be
I
good, man. Like, I'm
think
sure
of
you're
early.
gonna have a great time.
Yeah, it's cool. I get to play. So there's a couple other people from different parts of Kentucky, and there was in Owensboro, they're really like doing it big. They're having a banquet for the people, and they invited me, being from Kentucky, so they invited anyone from Kentucky that's nominated in different categories. And so Friday I got to go down to Owensboro and play their Friday after five thing, just playing one tune, playing Outlaw for. They have this big street festival, which is going to be cool, and then the banquet, which anyone can go to. They have general admission tickets in Owensboro. It's banquets on Saturday at 2 o'clock, and I'm gonna perform there for that. And I think they're tied. The people who run the HIMA is tied to Owensboro somehow because I think they're gonna give away like the blues. Uh, Maybe not. I really don't know. I shouldn't be talking. I have no clue. I don't know. I'm just going. I've been invited. I'm going. I'm gonna play a song and burn down the house. And I told him because I was like, the categories of people that are going there are like blues and country or like bluegrass. There's a couple noms for bluegrass. Go figure, right? Kentucky. And they asked me to play, and I said, "Hey, I know I'm in the Americana Roots category." I was like, "But I don't want to show up. I'll play, but I don't want to show up and you think I'm coming to play acoustic." And I was like, "I'm like, please listen to
You're
the
plugging
song.
that sucker in, man.
Yeah, I'm coming. It's gonna get loud. It's gonna and like there's a whole in section with a big guitar solo, and like I was like, it's gonna get rowdy, and I
Yeah,
just
I'm
make
sure.
sure that you all know that and don't think that like I'm coming in with an acoustic guitar, you know, and I'm gonna be playing quietly.
Yeah, like I said, huge contrast, and you might see like plenty of like really fair looking, very clean cut. Like I'm gonna do this, and then meanwhile you're there, very aggressive rock, man.
Yeah,
I'm just like, oh man,
freaking python cowboy boots
yeah.
and jewelry and you know just an attitude.
Yeah. And then taking it all in and putting it all together, what have you learned at this point in your career, not only as a musician, but as a person.
Um, I try to continually, I think, be humble. The whole pandemic, everything severely humbled me. Where just like I said, lost all momentum and stuff, and kind of got back to square one. And I've had to play where I was playing big shows in LA, and I was on track to being like not having to play smaller stuff, but I got to go backstage. I was a guest of Nancy Jones is at the George Jones tribute in Huntsville, and I got to go backstage and I was talking to an old country icon, Miss Jeannie Pruitt, and
Wow.
yeah, and I also spoke with Charlie Daniels' wife, which is wild, and because I cover a Charlie Daniels song, so that's really
Yeah.
cool. And but Jeannie Pruitt, she told me she's like, you're gonna play more shows for free than you'll ever get paid, and that really resonated with me because even though I am getting paid for shows, but I still go to like open mic nights in whatever city I'm in and try to meet people and just try to be I try to get into all the community and become a part of it rather than like I don't think I'm too good to I don't think I'm too good to play with the local people or anything like that. So I think what I've learned the most is just to try to stay humble, and even with there's always a lot more downtime than there is anything. It's hurry up and wait. So like while I'm busy now with shows and playing in Nashville and Cincy and going out to LA for this award show, after that it's right back to the okay, right back to the drawing board. Like be a little bit more downtime. So just take the good with the bad, I suppose.
Hmm. And you make a good point to say that your passion kind of overrides like a sole incentive for payment. In other words, you're not afraid to just, play for the sake of playing, even if it meant like, being like you said, with a bunch of locals that you might not even be aware of, and you might not know their skill level, but that's not a deterrence for you. It's still a learning. It's still a learning. Could be a learning curve, but it's a learning experience. All in all.
Yeah. Like I went to an open mic a few weeks ago, and I mean humbly, I was definitely one of the better ones there, just did acoustic and sang. Um but still, like I remember, there was like some young kids there that it was like all ages thing they could go. And I just, I remember being like that young kid who was still learning and stuff. And so I try in those moments if they ever have any questions about something to, and still like some knowledge, like, hey, I know you're playing your G chord like this, but you should really try this. It sounds cooler and things like that. And building communities is the most important thing, I think, in general, because there's life's filled with hard times, so you need people around you that you can trust, and people that have
Yeah.
you need good people around you, so when those times happen, or if they fall on hard times, you're there for them too.
Mm-hmm. And then lastly, anything you'd like to say to your fans?
uh Thank you for always streaming the tunes, and if you've purchased shirts, thank you for that, and come to shows, and hit me up on IG or any of the other social media at Ian Abel Band, and let me know if you want me to come to your town, and I will do my best to come out there and find a place to play and rock it.
Oh man, if you're able to come to Tampa, that'd be awesome.
I got to. My uncle's from Tampa.
That's awesome,
Need to
man.
come down there, Tampa Bay.